Hello, I'm Krista Kelly. I'm going to be interviewing Candace Bennett today on blood diamonds in Africa and basically like how they affect our society.
Hi, my name's Candace. I am a history major at Golden West University in Huntington, and yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with our first question, which is how do blood diamonds affect our society?
Blood diamonds affect our society because we're trying to bring light to the situation on how they're being mined, how they're being sold, how our economy is not profiting whatsoever from the purchase of diamonds because they are illegal, and where we do get them from, it's like people are being murdered from it and things like that. So we're not getting any money from it. The people are dying, like they're not being paid for it. So it's just a lot of illegal like transactions.
Okay. My next question is what exactly are blood diamonds?
Blood diamonds are any diamonds that are purchased without a certificate or a proof of like where it's being mined from. It also is a diamond that's mined during the wars through slavery.
Okay. Sorry. My next question are where do blood diamonds come from?
Blood diamonds come from, they are originally from South Africa. Stop. In areas like Zimbabwe. Okay, this is not funny. In areas like Zimbabwe and Sierra Leone, it's any place in South Africa that it's like super poverty and that people are able to be enslaved without anyone really taking like notice or really like being accounted for.
Okay, well, my next question is who benefits most from these blood diamonds?
The rebel armies, basically it, because like I said before, like we as like the US or like anyone that are buying these diamonds are not getting any money. And the slaves are basically, I don't believe they're being paid like very little to like anything. It's by force. So it's not like costing them anything to mine this. Like there's no labor cost or anything. So the only people that are benefiting from are when they sell the diamonds.
Okay. What countries are affected the most from blood diamonds? Mining. Yeah, sorry.
Basically, any country that the diamonds are being smuggled or sold into are being affected because we as a whole, we are not like addressing the situation. We're not, if we do purchase these diamonds, like we're being affected because we're not taking a stand. And of course, like South Africa is being affected because that's where the diamonds are coming from, and that's where like this horrible like these murders are happening. So it's just as a whole like unity South Africa and then over here as well.
Okay. Sorry. When did blood diamond mining become an issue?
It has been an issue for a very long time, but just I would say in like the early 90s is when we really started taking notice. Pardon me. Is when we first started taking notice and decided to like try to stand up and do something about it, but it's been an issue for a very long time. We just recently started making an effort.
My next question is how did rebel army groups take control and basically slave these people into mining diamonds for them?
Just as like if you find a big enough group of people in general that can take over, and especially in South Africa where there is a lot of poverty and there is a lot of people that can be influenced heavily, and if they were promised like a lot of stuff like better jobs and blah 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 and like a lot of money which they're not paid whatsoever. So it's just a matter of they taken it by force. So yeah, basically when they take it by force, like they're cutting off limbs or threatening to kill families, like raping their wives and things like that. So it's just taken by force.
Do you know any like examples like in past history where things like that have happened?
Just countless genocides where just big groups of people have taken over, like Hitler in Germany. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. What is the Kimberley process?
The Kimberley process is one of the processes that we have chosen to basically try to counteract these blood diamonds, because what the Kimberley process states is that any diamonds purchased need to have a certificate stating like where they came from, where they were mined, like basically verifying the fact that they are illegal and able to be sold.
That's cool. My next question is, which parts of South Africa are affected the most from blood diamond mining?
I would say a lot of majority of South Africa are, but there are two really big places that we've come to learn that are the most manufacturer of these diamonds, and that's Zimbabwe and Sierra Leone.
Oh, cool. Okay. Has there been any progress on stopping the production? Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has there been any progress on stopping the production of these diamonds?
Yes and no. Like there are, like I said, we did create the Kimberley process. We've also just tried to create awareness, because the biggest problem was that not many people knew about these blood diamonds, so not many people, it basically was like cool, like cheaper diamonds or like diamonds are diamonds, but like they don't know the history behind it. So as long as we bring this issue to light, like saying people are being murdered over this, like we need to make more steps and things like that. So we are trying we are trying to make more progress. Like there has been more since the 90s when we first found out about this, but just not enough to where it's been like a very significant, like it's still ongoing.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's interesting. My next question is, has there been any progress on stopping the production of these diamonds?
You just asked.
Oh. I'm sorry. Sorry. I can barely read my questions. My next question actually is there any way to tell the difference between a blood diamond and a regular diamond that you would like buy at the jewelry store?
They are identical. Like there's nothing, you can't tell the difference between the two, except for the fact when you're like, hey, show me the
certificate.
The Carfax of diamonds.
So really there's like no way for people to know whether they're buying blood diamond, like supporting those rebel armies or not.
No.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so it makes it really difficult to track, like,
that's probably why like a lot of people don't know about it, right?
Because because there's no way to say like.
It's not like they say blood diamond on them. So
yeah, exactly.
It's difficult. Okay, that makes sense. What countries mainly still support the blood diamond industry?
Basically, every country that purchases diamonds that are large, the people that do purchase diamonds, they're supporting blood diamonds because I'm so sorry. Like I've previously stated that there is really no way to tell which one is a blood diamond and what isn't, besides a certificate. But at the same time, like what we've come to see is that unless you're a like pro, like against, like basically if you're against violence, like then you'll ask for the certificate. But at the same time, it's like if you can get cheaper diamonds, like most people are going to get cheaper diamonds versus paying like top dollar for like non-blood diamonds. So it's just, and yeah, it's kind of, so there's not many, like a lot of people still do support it, but like I said, we're just trying to bring light to the situation.
Yeah, well, I also heard that like they get mixed in with, like they kind of like since they're like illegally smuggled here, that they kind of get mixed in with like the regular diamonds. So
yeah, that's how
it's not even that people are buying always cheaper ones. It's just that they don't know that that's like obviously
that they're being like, they've learned. A lot of the rebel armies have figured out that if they just mix like a lot of theirs in with like actual like certified diamonds, that there's, like I've said, there's really no way to tell a difference. So they're getting they're getting the same amount of money, but through like being certified. So yeah, it's just they're still managed to get smuggled into the country regardless of whether or not they have a certificate or not.
Okay, well, my next question is, how did these diamonds still manage to get smuggled into the country?
You just asked me one?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I answered that one.
I thought I said what countries still support the blood diamonds?
Yeah, and then
Are you sure?
positive.
Okay. Lastly, how much have these blood diamonds really affected today's diamond industry?
It's not necessarily that like we have been affected. It's all the lives that have been lost and all the families that have been broken up and all the women and children whose fathers have been taken away from them, and just the scattered bodies and no one to identify them, that have honestly been more severely affected than just like our economy and not having certifications. But blood diamonds have severely affected our country. We, like I said, we're just trying to bring light to the situation and like try to help these families and do the best that we can with that.
Okay. Well, do you have any other information you'd like to share?
No, just that there are a lot of ways to get involved. So yeah, there are a lot of ways to get involved. If you'd really like to take a stand against these things, there are places that'll take donations and things like that to like try to get these families out of the situation.
Do you know like if this is still like as huge of a problem as it was back then in the 90s? Like, has it been controlled a lot, or like, because I know like a lot of people think that they're that it's not a problem anymore, like they're basically done. Like people are like, oh, like that was something that happened, it's over with, you know. But like, do you think it still is continuing and happening? Like, just really like,
I mean, if there's no, it's one thing to like require a certificate, but it's another thing to like actually have people like an army or like South African police like go in there and like break it up. So I do believe that it's still ongoing and that there still are a lot of people being affected. I would like to say that not as much as in the 90s, but at the same time, like, diamonds are still a growing business. So when there is a demand, the supply should be fulfilled.
Do you know like sorry, do you know if like any or like how much the rebel armies have grown since then? Like, have they grown a lot or not so much? Yeah, so answer that question first.
Okay. There are a lot of bad things going on right now in South Africa. So basically, like, there are a lot of rebel armies, and it's just a matter of like it is an ongoing concern over there. So it hasn't stopped. Like, there will always be rebel armies. Like, there will always be a different cause to go after. So yeah, it's still still a constant threat.
So then my next question is, do you think that these armies could become big enough to where they could like actually take over like big parts of South Africa? I mean, I know they have taken over some parts, but like, do you think they could like actually gain that much control to where they can take over like full cities and countries and stuff like that?
But are you talking about blood diamonds or just in general?
Well, just like with the blood diamonds.
For the sake of
kind of like yeah. Okay.
I would say no, just because blood diamonds are only mined in certain areas, so it's not like, I mean, the rebel army itself can get huge and like push more people into mining and things like that, and it can become more bloody and it can become more of an issue. But if there are only certain areas that can be mined, then it really should be like not concealed, but kept into like these little areas. So they could
more like one area, not like
full,
it could
take over
like
cities.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say
maybe
full
cities. Do you think?
Well, I'm sure like in
Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure over there that like it's completely been taken over, but at the same time, it's like I don't believe that that the rebel army would take over all of South Africa. Like, there are a lot of like good areas of South Africa as well.
I have Another question I have is, do you think there's any way to like fully stop this? Like, there's any way that people can like really, really come in and like fully stop this from happening completely?
Honestly, I really don't think so. Just because it's like